And then the doctor said what they can do, they just put a little pump. You know when you used to go camping?
Yeah.
These days the younger, they put a thing on there. No, but there's like a hand pump.
Yeah.
They put a little pump in there.
Really?
You just squeeze it and up. Oh! Hello!
Hello.
And welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods where the Gramps build continues. Now let me just finish off my conversation if you don't mind me saying. I don't want them to pump up the old one.
Yeah.
I want a brand new one, Martin.
Speaking of shiny new ones,
Yes.
that engine is a sight to behold.
What engine, Martin?
The EZ36.
Oh!
6-cylinder, modern, quad AVCS cam control.
And I've got a great idea, Martin.
What's that?
This episode,
Yes.
let's make sure it's in the car.
I think it needs to go into the engine bay. There needs to be a gearbox put in.
Cheers!
Cheers! What are we removing currently?
Throttle cable. No longer required.
Throttle cables are for chumps.
They're old news.
And we're also just stripping back a whole bunch of wiring that we don't need to keep the engine bay extra tidy.
That's right, yeah. All the factory wiring that goes to the engine, we trim it off and get it out of the way so we got more room for turbos and awesome stuff like that.
So we're at the stage now where we're going to clean up some of the wiring that's in the engine bay. There's a whole lot of factory stuff that we don't need, so Turbo Yoda has started to hack that all up. The one that comes out here is the one that goes through into the dash. We don't need a whole lot of these, so all we've got so far is reverse lights, so when it's in reverse it'll trigger the rear lights. And also, because this was originally an automatic car, it's got the inhibitor switch, which is the one that means you can't start it unless it's in park or neutral. We're bridging that so the car will start any time, because with a manual, that's just the way it works.
A bare engine bay is the best time to get things neat and tidy.
So all this wiring stuff looks fairly complicated, but you don't have a diagram.
No, I don't really need a diagram for this model car. I've done hundreds, maybe thousands of wiring looms for them.
If you were going to turbocharge one of these using factory stuff, obviously the wiring's not just going to, like you can't just dump a turbo motor in here and plug in the original loom that comes with the car, right?
On a Subaru, every loom is specific to the car's engine, transmission, and even accessories and stuff like that. They weren't real good with making a generic loom like some cars are. So it was a matter of both looms out. We'd usually get a WRX or STI half cut would be the most likely thing to use, and strip them both open into a big pile of wires and pull out the engine wiring out of the Liberty and Legacy. They're called Liberties in Australia, by the way. And then pull out the engine management wiring out of the STI loom or WRX, and then I'd basically make a loom that replicated what Subaru would make if they put that engine in the car from factory. So
it looks entirely factory, so all the plugs and everything that are in there, you could basically
you can't tell, and everything in the car works the way it should work, which is how it should be.
So this is slightly different because we are using a custom engine loom, like one that works specifically for our ECU.
That's right.
So we don't have to use factory, plugs necessarily.
No. We're more or less going to delete the factory engine management system altogether, which is why we've cut off parts of it already. And we'll put a hole through the firewall and run the loom through there, and it'll have its own fuse box and everything. It's all self-contained. It needs all its own gear because it's got the drive-by-wire system, which has got fail-safing built into it, which so it needs its own relay box and that sort of thing. So that's the way we're going to do it. We just want to tidy things up now.
Man, let's do it. It's tidy. I like tidy. Don't like this. Look at that dirt, man. That's going to go the second this thing's rolling.
May I draw your attention?
Oh. What's going on there?
Crimps.
Oh, no soldering. So we've got rid of the wiring that went through to the dash. We've now just got our reverse lights hanging out. Next to that is where the clutch master cylinder will go now. Because this used to be auto, it just had a big rubber grommet there, but we're going to put a clutch master there so we can use our mad 6-speed. So this is a clutch master cylinder. You can see the linkage here that your pedal pushes on when you press the clutch. This one has a remote reservoir because it's off an STI, which means it's got a bigger intercooler and stuff like that. You'll also notice it's got really, really long pipes. Now, They do that for pedal feel, but it also makes it really hard to bleed. But being that we're putting a massive engine in this thing, we want as much space as we can possibly get, so we're going to simplify it. Turbo Yoda's just going to put a smaller pipe on here, and then we'll have a clutch and we'll stick it in the car.
Most auto and manual cars share the same mounting points, but the pedals are completely different. So the auto pedal box is coming out to make way for the manual goodness. While we're contorting ourselves under the dash, Al decides it's time for the crappy old alarm to get chopped.
Let's get rid of this epoxy alarm.
How are you getting rid of it?
Chopping it.
What was that you were doing, sorry?
Chopping it.
Chopping it. Clutch pedal.
He then bends up a new clutch line to sit as close as possible to the firewall to give us maximum engine space. Next, our new electronic throttle system has to be adapted to fit into the older car.
Yeah, I think we can just hang an outrigger out of the top, out of those bolts that hold the master cylinder in, just to get that pick up on that top one. It'll be fine. Looks good.
And as long as it doesn't foul the actual brake pedal.
Yeah, I know it should be fine. It's in exactly the same position as they normally are.
Look at that, man. Cool. Is that like 15 years newer or something? It just does.
That's how Subaru is.
While we're busy pedaling away, Doze Fader gets our freshly machined flywheel ready to be installed.
So I think it's pretty clear now that getting a whole nother shell from Mechanical Stig was probably the way to go, because this would now, if this was Gramps version 1, all that turbo work and like custom wiring stuff would just be gone.
Yep. We'd be chopping it all off and wasting something that's had a fair bit of money spent on it already.
A working car. Because this will never be a naturally aspirated automatic thing ever again.
I hope not.
No, not too. So we've got a clutch pedal, but it's time to un-autify this car, which I take great pleasure in doing.
Still finding plenty of leftover grot from previous owners. Is that a pube?
And with the lid shut and everything.
Our gearbox is being prepped for its new life in Gramps version 2.0. The engine is released from its engine stand and put onto the crane.
So next up, we're going to put the clutch on the back of the engine. Now, all engines that have ECUs have to have a crank position sensor, and that's what this thing does. So it's got 36 teeth on it, as well as some blanked off spots, which helps tell the ECU exactly where the engine is positioned. We'll talk more about this when we tune the engine. So next up, we're going to drop the engine into the car, and then we're going to stick the gearbox on.
We're using a brand new clutch to suit our 6-speed gearbox.
The first thing we'll notice about it is obviously it's a metallic surface on it. And this is what they refer to as a button clutch. So instead of having an organic material all the way around as an even surface, they have these pucks in separate places. This is much more grippy than a standard configuration. The main difference for that obviously is we can run a lot more clamping load through it and a lot more grip on the flywheel and clutch, so we don't have clutch slip. The difference between a 6-speed and a 5-speed clutch. A 6-speed clutch, if we have a look at the flywheel, it has raised steps on the flywheel. Now a 5-speed clutch is a completely flat, smooth surface, and these steps are actually built into the pressure plate rather than onto the flywheel. The actual diameter of the clutch plate is also bigger than a 5-speed as well, and we also have more surface area to contact, so it will take a lot more power through that clutch without any slippage.
A clutch aligning tool makes sure the engine and gearbox will fit together cleanly. The pressure plate is then placed on and tightened. With a few sets of hands, the EZ36 can be lowered into its new home, mounting up perfectly on the factory crossmember and mounts.
The motor's in, Turbo Yoda.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ghost Vader?
I think it's looking very good.
I think the force is strong with this one.
It is.
Look at it. There's a lot to do, but the motor's in, so that's kind of mission accomplished in a way. We said we'd put an EZ36 in it, and we did, so now we can all go home.
We just twitch some wires and weld some pipes, and away we go.
Shoot you. We've got an engine, and it's in. Now it just needs a gearbox on it, and then we can go do some skids. After we do a lot of other things.
A hoist and a transmission jack make installing this quite heavy gearbox into the car much easier. The two can then be bolted together and the supporting cross members put in place.
So we've got these brake calipers which are off, and an STI, so they're Brembo brake calipers, and they're all orange and shiny, but they don't match the black ones that are on the front that say STI on them. So for maximum stealth, we're going to paint these black to match what's on the front, but they're pretty dirty and need a clean up, so we're going to whiz them back and then give them a coat of paint.
We've got our hands on some later model alloy control arms which are lighter and have better bushes on them.
So we've now got alloy control arms with better rear bushes because they're not liquid filled anymore. They're new.
Big stopping power is even more important than big going power, so we're going to be installing some brand new front Brembo calipers and brake rotors to make sure Gramps and its occupants stay in one piece. We're also putting on brand new brake lines which are braided from the factory.
We've done a lot in the last couple of days. Tell us where we're up to.
Well, we've got the engine bolted in and the gearbox and rear diff, whole rear end assembly with the Brembos on. We're pretty good to go for the drivetrain. We've got good clearance here. It's a pretty big engine. It's obviously bigger than the EJ25 that was in it, but it still fits, so that's the main thing. Basically bolted straight in, literally. Mounts, everything works. We'll mount the turbo here in your sort of traditional location for a Subaru. It will be obviously mounted at a twisted angle, just because it's going to be too big to do anything like a generic sort of Subaru turbo engine. I've actually done a turbo H6 before in a Gen 4 Legacy, and it fits pretty nicely and works really well, so we've got a bit of an idea what we're going to do.
And so the process, once we've kind of got our turbo and we've got, you know, the next step is pipes, right? But there's still heaps more to do once we've piped it all up.
Yeah, so once we've mounted turbo and plumbed it, got all our integral and everything sorted out, we've then got to wire the ECU, which it's a pretty big job. It's a fairly high-tech engine. There's a lot of actuators and sensors and stuff like that, and they all take one wire at a time, so it's a fair bit of work.
We also need a way to change gears, so I was told to get in the car and install the shifter.
Probably the coolest thing I've ever done in my entire life. There goes Turbo Yoda. Bye. Go home. just chilling. No one else is in a hoist. The noise is annoying. Hello, mate.
Stop it. Leave you up there.
I'm gonna get in trouble in a second. He's a very calm gentleman usually. I haven't seen him crack it yet. There you go. I put a clutch alignment tool on your spanner for you.
Thanks.
No worries. What are you doing with my tail shaft?
It's buggered.
What's wrong with it?
The uni's buggered. Big time.
I'd love to come and film it, but I'm
Ow.
still up in a car and I can't get
Look.
down.
It's fully broken.
Fully, show me.
See?
Oh wait. Oh yes, I can.
You can see chunks missing out of it.
So we can't use it then?
Nah.
What are we going to use?
Another one.
Alright. Well, this is going to be an awesome video. Slight issue with the cameraman. Right, okay. I suppose we'll see you next time then. Can I get down now?
Does it smell?
Yeah, real bad, man. And that's just me, the car's even worse.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't realise how quickly I'd have the shifter installed, because they allocated a lot of time for me to be in the car. I'd like to show you all the tail shaft going in, because I think that's a very interesting part of this conversion, being we're putting a 6-speed in. It's an essential part of the conversion, but I've been left up a hoist too high to be able to get down. So instead, I'm just going to sit here. Because I've been telling Turbo Yoda to wait all day while I film stuff, and I think he finally cracked it and thought up an ingenious plan of getting rid of me while still keeping me here. Got a black intercooler. It's about all I can show you now. I see what's going on here. You invited Woody so that he holds the camera. You put me up in the car so I can't annoy you. And this is how the whole rest of the build's going to go, isn't it?
Sweet.
Alright Woody, you have a new job, man. I'm just going to chill up here. See you in like 3 weeks when we're finished. Now there is a very, very good reason that I look somewhat older today than I did when that was filmed, because I've been up the hoist for quite a while. But the engine is in, the drivetrain is in, and it's starting to appear like we have a car.
This is not a toilet, is it?
No, mate.
Oh.